We've just been given a full dump of information on how Modern Warfare Zombies is going to operate in the new Call of Duty. And there's some really exciting stuff here that I wasn't expecting that's going to add a lot of longevity to the Zombies format. There are a lot of concerns about the new open world Zombies that it's going to be a bit more like Outbreak, where you're going to run out of things to do and things to achieve, and that's going to be problematic for the game. But there's lots of really good systems in here that I'm excited to tell you about today, and honestly, I think Zombies has a huge amount of potential to be successful. According to Treyarch, Zombies has three specific outcomes. The central storyline in Operation Deadbolt, where you explore the open world and search for valuable acquisitions and schematics, which I'll touch on a little bit more later. The second key component is the contracts mechanics, allowing you to earn essence, to collect acquisitions and clear missions to discover what's really happening inside the exclusion zone and progress the story of Zombies. And then finally, the extraction mechanics, where you're going to be taking on these contracts to unlock various items to work your way through the story. Some of those missions are going to be inherently challenging, making you go into difficult zones with harder level zombies, and in the preview event for this game, it was said that even with 6 to 7 content creators who were all fairly well versed with zombies, they struggled in some of the hardest modes despite working together. So difficult mission objectives that are going to require teamwork to do, but have a lot of risk and a lot of reward. So hopefully extraction in this will create a really good risk element where you need to level up your guns to try these challenging missions, and if you lose your weapons by not extracting properly, then you're going to have to start all over again. So a really good gameplay loop is emerging there. Effectively, you need to work your way through the story, and to work your way through the story, you need to complete missions and objectives, but to complete those missions and objectives to earn currency, you have to continually challenge yourself more and more with more difficult enemies. So you have a really good risk element cycle here where if you want to progress the story of Zombies and continue through the various seasons, you're going to have to do really challenging things that you honestly might not make it out alive from. The main menu of Zombies looks like this, which will allow you to see your lobby, the gear you have, the strike team available to you, customization, so on and so forth. And it will also tell you the amount of progression that you've made into the Zombies story and the missions that you have completed. Your strike team operators are a little bit like your operators from DMZ, where you have specific items and things that you can use, like self-revives, plate vests, so on and so forth. And as long as you extract successfully with that strike team operator, those items will carry over between rounds. But if you end up dying or not extracting, those items are lost with that specific operator. One of the essential goals of Zombies is to start putting together acquisitions into your rucksacks, and these are things that you'll be able to craft that will allow you to take something into the game for a single use advantage to get you in and out of a specific mission. And the schematics are the things that you find in order to unlock the ability to craft those acquisitions in the first place. So you'll have to find these schematics throughout the map and in the open world setting, and if you do, you can start putting together items to help you with those specific missions. This is a really good mechanic again, where it could be that certain mechanics and schematics are locked behind really challenging missions, so to progress the story, you have to work super hard to do so. So you'll have your backpack system, you'll have weapon slots as well with tacticals and lethals, as well as field upgrades, which is really exciting to see, and of course weapon slots that are insured and uninsured, and if you happen to lose an insured weapon slot, there will be a cooldown timer before you can use them again. There are specific Zombies field upgrades which you can see on screen here. We have Energy Mine, which is an explosive, which deals damage to enemies who set it off. We have Frenzied Guard, which is a tanking ability which allows you to repair your armor to maximum and make all enemies in the area target you for 10 seconds. There is a Healing Aura, which allows you to heal players in your vicinity. Frost Blast, which freezes enemies in the area of effect and slows them down. The Aether Shroud, which makes you invisible. And the Tesla Storm, which for 10 seconds lightning connects to other players, stunning and damaging normal enemies. These are specific field upgrades with different recharge times, and the more useful and handy the ability, the slower the recharge. Atherium is also something that you can find and extract within the game. You can find raw Atherium to upgrade your weapons and pack-a-punch them to level 1 and 2, and you can find epic Atherium tools which will put them into a rarer form with higher damage, a higher form of pack-a-punch if you will, but all of these are hard to find and you'll have to search around the open world. In Modern Warfare Zombies, there are no vests, gloves, or boots, or any of the equipment that you would expect from the original Modern Warfare 3 game. Instead, permanent boosts are acquired through Perk-A-Colas, unless you fully die, in which case you lose that Perk-A-Cola, or if you fail to extract. There's Deadshot Daiquiri for faster ADS. There is Death Perception, which finds obscured enemies' chests and resources so you can find item drops and other enemies quickly. There is Elemental Pop, which has a small chance of applying a random ammo mod effect like fire or freezing to any of your ammunition. Juggernog, which increases your maximum health. And PhD Flopper, which allows you to trigger an explosion on diving. And the higher you fall, the more the damage, and there's also no falling damage whilst using PhD Flopper. We have Quick Revive, which is for health regeneration, which reduces it by 50% and reduces the amount of time it takes to revive an ally. Speed Cola allows you to replay armor faster and reload faster. There's also Stamina Up for increasing your run and sprint speed. And finally, Tombstone Soda, which allows you to create a tombstone stash at that location containing your backpack in the next game. So if you fail to extract and die, Tombstone Soda will allow you an opportunity to save yourself in the next match. Weapons you have in the game can be equipped with ammo modifications on top of being pack-a-punched, and there are 5 separate ones at the launch of the game. They haven't provided a description for what these do, but I imagine you guys will get a rough idea of what they're capable of. There is Brain Rot, which appears to be some kind of toxin ability, Cryo Freeze, which is a freezing ability, Dead Wire, which seems to have some kind of electricity element to it, which in my view is probably something like a shock grenade, Napalm Burst for fire, and Shatter Blast, which I imagine has a knockback ability, and all of these can be applied to your weapons. And then of course we have the Wonder Weapons. They have redacted all of the ones that will be available at launch, but you can expect some fan favorites like the ray gun to be there, and hopefully some more that we can find and craft. For the start of the game, there will be tasks and missions with various factions, which will unlock specific other tasks and missions much like DMZ. And if you complete all of the missions and tasks within a certain faction, you will get access to continue the story in the exclusion zone, completing the first element of the storyline before it continues in Season 1. So they are confirming here and now the storyline is extending through Season 1 and will likely continue to extend over the various seasons. So a DMZ-esque style mission progression system with story elements. As mentioned before, these missions will require you going to different zones in the game, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3, and you'll need equipment to get in and out of those various tiers, because Tier 3 especially is extremely challenging, which will require to make sure that you stay alive in order to get that equipment, get the schematics and acquisitions that you need to make those missions happen. So a good replay loop is occurring here. There are Perk-A-Cola machines, Pack-A-Punch machines, wall buys, and of course the mystery box, and wonder weapons. So that is a very full synopsis of everything that is coming at launch, and I'm really excited to play Modern Warfare Zombies because it feels like this is a system that has been well devised and well thought out. You have to complete these various missions as a team or with your mates in order to progress the story, but to complete those missions, you're going to have to look for things and unlock things in the map. You're going to need certain schematics and acquisitions, certain perks, and if you don't have those things, chances are you won't survive in the higher tiers of Tier 2 and Tier 3. And if you don't survive in those tiers, you have to restart again to find some of those items all over again, creating a really satisfying boot loop where extraction is really, really key. And this is feeling a bit like a DMZ hybrid, but I feel like with the increasing difficulty of missions, this is going to be something that has a lot of replayability. The big issue I've had with the DMZ mission system in the past is that a lot of the missions felt fairly easy, but we know for a fact that Tier 3 missions, especially in this, are going to be very challenging and will require some assimilation between squads in order to get them done. So hopefully we're going to see a really good replay loop there, and the fact that the story is already going to be continuing a month after release at the start of Season 1 is super, super exciting. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on Zombies in the comment section below. I'm very excited to see what's happening with this. I wanted to hear what you guys feel about it, and I'm really looking forward to streaming it as well. So make sure you're subscribed for that. Drop a like if you enjoyed this info, and I'll catch you again in the next one.